Hello, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tahir Naeem and we are studying e-cameras. So far we have covered 21 lecture and today is our lecture number 22. The topic of our today lecture is electronic payment system. In this lecture we will study about how the payments are made electronically. This is the outline of our today lecture. First of all, we will discuss electronic payment systems. Then we will discuss virtual payment system. Then we will discuss centralized accounts payment model. Then we will discuss electronic checks. Let's discuss about electronic payment system. Most of the electronic payment system on the internet uses cryptography in one way or other to ensure confidentiality and security of the payment information. Some of the popular payment system on the internet include the credit card based payment system, electronic checks, electronic cash, micropayment system, Millicent, Payword, etc. The process of using credit card. So this first step is a potential cardholder request in issuing bank in which the cardholder may have an account. The issuance of credit card like Visa, Mastercard, like in context of Pakistan, you can say that HBL card or any other cards. The issuing bank approves or denies the application. If approved, a plastic card is physically delivered to the customer address by mail. The card is activated as soon as the cardholder calls the bank for initiation and signs the back of the card. Second, the cardholder shows the card to merchant whenever he or she needs to pay for the product or service. The merchant then asks for the approval from the brand company or the company for which card belongs, Visa, etc., and transaction is paid by the card. The merchant keeps a sales slip. The merchant sends a slip to the acquirer bank and pays a fees for the service. This is called capturing process. The acquirer bank requests the brands to clear for the credit amounts and get paid. Then the brand asks for the clearance to the issuer bank. The amount is transferred from the issuer to the brand. The same amount is deducted from the cardholder accounts in the issuing bank. So here is the mechanism in which the credit card or debit card works. Here, first of all, you have to a card is issued. First of all, you apply for the card to the bank, and bank either accept your application or reject your application. I am accepting your application. You are issued with a credit card. So you carry around this card, and whenever you if you want to shop for some clothes or any other grocery items, so you show your card to the merchant. So the merchant has a POS, and he is a merchant takes your card and seeks authorization from the card brand in case of Visa, Master or ParkPay. So here the card authorization first of all look into the capture. He requests the acquirer banks to transfer the amount. So it will the bank account of the merchant. So here he will transfer it that amount should be transferred to the merchant bank account. So here he sent this request, card brand sent this request to the bank, and bank transfer amount to the card brand, and card brand then forward this to the acquirer bank or merchant bank account. So this is typically the process of how the credit card operates. Virtual PIN payment system. Virtual PIN payment system does not involve the use of encryption. So in this, no encryption is used in this this PIN payment system. Payment is made through credit card in this system. The objective was to allow the selling of low value information item without use of any special hardware or software. So the basic purpose of this system was that no dedicated hardware or software is required in using this system. Both merchant and buyers are required to register with the First Virtual RFV. So a buyer registered with FV forward his or her credit card details and email address to First Virtual and in exchange receive a passphrase called virtual PIN. Buyer makes a telephone call to First Virtual to provide his or her credit card number. First Virtual establishes a link between virtual PIN and the credit card number without using the credit card number on the network. A merchant goes through a similar registration process. He provides his bank detail to the First Virtual and is given a merchant virtual PIN. The merchant can now request to process payment from the registered First Virtual customer. The transfer takes place with the help of Automated Clearance House or ACH service. ACH is a centralized system to which different banks are electronically connected, forming a network for clearing payment requests. At the end of the payment, proceed from the credit card issuer bank to the account of merchant with require bank through ACH after First Virtual deducts per transaction charges for its services. So basically the first virtual PIN payment system was used to provide the payment system simply without using any complex hardware or software, and its First Virtual played a critical role in to which both merchant and buyer has registered accounts on. So whenever customer want to buy something, he will give his number to the merchant, and merchant will give the credit card number to the First Virtual, and also the user will also give his PIN number to the First Virtual. So in this way, the payment from First Virtual customer account will be placed by Automatic Clearing House. The Automatic Clearing House will take the payment from customer bank account to the merchant bank accounts electronically. These were the first transaction made in 1980s, but their popularity declined with the introduction of modern technology. So here how First Virtual network operates. So here buyer has an account ID with the he will have account. He will give his account to a web server or any website selling the goods. So the merchant will forward this account ID to First Virtual Internet Payment System server, that is this account is valid or not, account number is valid or not. The First Virtual will okay if this account number is valid. So he will also forward the transaction details, how much he want to deduct from this account in lieu of purchasing something. So the First Virtual, they will then forward this request to the buyer, that is it okay to transfer the said amount to the said merchant bank account, and the user will normally said okay if he has purchased something, or if there is some fraud, then he will reject this request. So here the account transaction account the amount will be transferred to the web server to the merchant, and also the survey will be taken if he is satisfied with the services of first virtual or not. This was the earliest payment methods electronically, but with the introduction of the newer technologies, this payment gradually declined with the passage of time. A virtual PIN can become compromised as a result of eavesdropping, and bogus purchase are possible before it is blacklisted. Stolen credit card number can also be used to set up virtual PIN associated with email address controlled by the attacker to carry out the bogus transaction. After every 90 days, buyer credit card account is billed for the charges that have accumulated and the merchant account is credited accordingly. First Virtual does accounting for the merchant and buyer, therefore it takes commission per transaction according to its policy. Advantages and disadvantages of First Virtual transaction. So the first advantage was that it was simple and there was no encryption used in this payment method, which means that no special hardware or software is needed for the front end. This payment system is good for low cost information item, therefore it is suitable for buying online articles, journal, music, etc., where the cost of item is not much. In that eventually only sales are lost rather than the actual financial loss to the merchant if there is fraud. In other words, only some extra copies of information item are made in case of fraud. On the other hand, merchant is exposed to much greater financial loss if purchase relates to the actual physical goods. One of the major disadvantages of this payment model is the pre-registration of buyer and merchant with the First Virtual is mandatory in this setup. So the basic disadvantage that both buyer and merchant must have bank account, must have registration with the First Virtual. Moreover, maintaining a bank account in case of merchant, having credit card in case of buyer is also essential part of this system. One can say that merchant size is less secured in the transaction because goods are delivered by the merchant before the payment is actually received. Centralized account payment model. This is with the introduction of this payment model, it is widely adopted by the users and it is used up till now. This is a popular payment system on the internet, and this both the payer, buyer and the payee merchant hold accounts at the same centralized online financial institution. Over 20 payment system uses this approach. Like I will give you example of PayPal, eGold, Billpoint, CyberGold, Yahoo, PayDirect, Amazon.com payment. So this is the most widely used payment method. In this payment method, both the user and the merchant have the bank account with the financial institution. So here how this types operates on. First of all, you if I want to let's suppose that payer want to pay something from the for payment. So first of all, he must have account with the centralized account system. Like in case of PayPal, we must have a PayPal account ID. So whenever I send my whenever I want to transfer some money, then I will go to this account ID and then I will transfer money to the other user having the PayPal account. So I will transfer money from my account to the other account, and it will also it will email to the payment notification that payment is made. So here basically a centralized system, and it will also notify me that the amount is transferred from my account PayPal account to the other PayPal account. Online opening of one account is done in a centralized bank using credit, debit card or prepaid card. To make payment, an account holder is authenticated using account identifier and a password. Account identifier of the PE and payment amount. So whenever I want to do a payment, the PayPal must identify my account and a password which is given to me by the PayPal and account identifier. All the communication between the user and bank is protected by SSL or secure socket layer. So basically SSL is a secure socket layer, is an encryption based protocol in which the communication is secure and no one can eavesdrop, because it was one of the major drawback of First Virtual that anyone can eavesdrop on the communication and pick up the password and account number. So in this case the secure socket layer protocol is used to communicate confidentially. The chosen account identifier, our account ID, is one which is unique within the system against which the funds are lying in the online bank. Normally the unique email address of the user are chosen as account identifiers. Payers are notified by email of the payment, which they can confirm by viewing their account using SSL or secure socket layer. A PE must open in online centralized bank to receive the amount in case there is no such account already. In some payment system which use this approach, a question may be sent to PE to verify his identity where the payer is not sure of that. For instance, Yahoo Pay Direct allows a payer specified question to be sent to so-called email of the PE. If the PE accepts the answer is a proof of the correct identity of the PE, the money is transferred, otherwise transaction is cancelled. The centralized bank, depending on in its policy, charges a transaction fees either from the payer or PE or both on funding in account or withdrawing fund from the account or receiving payment by the PE merchant. This model requires that all participants must have their account in the same central bank system. Note that the PE eventually withdraw the money received through his account in a centralized bank through automated clearance house or ACH. Electronic checks. Financial Service Technology Consortium or FSTC is a group of US banks, research agencies and government organizations formed in 1993. It has introduced the concept of electronic checks. An electronic checks contains an instruction to the payer bank to make specified payment to the PE. Both symmetric and asymmetric type of cryptography is used in the system. The payer and PE are issued digital certificate in X.509 standard format by their respective bank. These certificates are used to verify digital signature on the checks. A bank may include account restriction, maximum check value or currencies allowed by the bank in the certificate. Basically, electronic checks try to replace the manual checks in the world because it want to facilitate the user to issue the electronic checks and it was specified that it must be in a specific format, this digital certificate in the form of X.509 format, and additional restriction were imposed like account restriction, maximum check value or currencies allowed by the bank in the certificate. All individuals capable of issuing electronic check will have electronic checkbook device. So if anyone eligible to issue electronic checks must have electronic checkbook just like manual checkbooks. An electronic checkbook is a combination of secure hardware such as smart card and a prepared software. A smart card is usually the size of credit card having specialized software loaded on it. Information regarding secret private key certification and information in register of what check have been signed, endorsed is is normally stored on the smart card. So basically, those people who have a smart card or smart checkbook must be only able to issue the electronic checks, and specialized software was loaded on the smart card. So here is the how the electronic checks were used. That peers have a checkbook consisting of specialized hardware or software, and he will, whenever he want to give some check, he will certificate signature and check will be issued by the PE to a peer to the PE, and the PE will forward this in a secure envelope to his bank account or bank to transfer to receive such a amount from the to credit amount from the other person. So he will forward this to the bank having the account of the payer. So he will also, the payer bank will also email to the person to confirm that either this payment should be made or not. After clearing this payment, the automatic clearing house check clearing will clear the checks of the respective person. Reference from your, I have prepared my lecture. Thank you. If you have any question regarding today's lecture, feel free to email me. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.